Hey guys, Kristian Mischke here with another tutorial. In this episode, we'll be going over the control blocks and the structure of a program. Okay, let's get into it. We have our processing file over here. Let's start it up like normal with void setup. Let's give it a size. Doesn't really matter because we're not going to be going over the size too much. A small size of 50/50 should do. And run the program, make sure it's working. And here it is, it's all the way down here. Okay. Let's do these blocks to the left. Okay, the wait 1 second block is a lot more complicated than you may think. I'll probably go over this later because it involves other things. Okay, repeat 10 and forever. Forever we already kind of have with our void draw, because draw repeats forever until the program is finished. Other ways of doing a loop forever, like you could do it inside of here, like there are two types of loops, and I'll go over them right now. There's the while loop, and then there's the for loop. Okay, so something has to go inside of here. So the while loop is the exact opposite of repeat until. So while true is the same as repeat until false, if that makes sense. Because repeat until means do this over and over until this is true. So once this becomes true, then stop. While true means as long as this is true. So each time, if it's true, then do it. But once it's not, then get out of it. So while true, this will repeat forever. So if I put something here like print line, this will never get displayed, because this goes forever, but once it comes to the while true, true is always true, so it's never going to change. So everything in here will always happen. Print line, smiley face, why not? Oops, I forgot to put the semicolon there, and run it again. Okay, now it tells us that this is unreachable code because it knows that this will go on forever. So that's a pretty smart thing that's built into processing. Remove this and it will run fine. And it should always print all these little smiley faces. And of course it will lag because it might crash on us. Will it do that? Nope, okay. Yeah. Don't do that. You don't want to have something forever inside of another forever. Just use the draw if you're going to. You can use while for other things though, because while is the opposite of repeat until. So that means it's the same as repeat until not. So repeat until not true is the same as while true, if that makes sense. Okay. Since I just brought out this block, the not block, I'm actually going to go over that too. So, say we put in a word like in here. So actually, simply enough, we can just put in an exclamation point, and that negates the trueness. That means the exclamation point is the same as not. So if I run this, then it will be false. As you see, now it says this is unreachable code because it will never happen, because it's false. So it warns us about that too. So that's not, an exclamation point is the same as not. Okay. That's our forever and repeat until loop. Now, our repeat 10 loop, our repeat number loop. Okay, this is a bit different, a little bit more confusing. Before I do this, I want to go over one block before that, though. I want to go over the if block and the if else block. just so you can see how these work before you see how this works. So we're going to do this. If, this is how you write it. If, and then you have the parentheses, just like how you write any other thing. We got the word, parentheses, and then the brackets. Okay, inside the parentheses is the statement, just like inside of these this triangular kind of area. I guess it's a stretched hexagon, where you put these other blocks into it. Less than, greater than, equal to, and, or, and not. I already went over not, it's an exclamation point. Okay, let's go over some other of these. So first of all, you could just write in true like that, or false. But let's do some of these examples. So let's do less than. If 1 is less than 10, which it is, that's literally how you write it, just the same as they have it there. If 1 is less than 10, print line true. Okay, simple enough. True, 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 true. Okay, if 100 is less than 10, which it's not, so that's false, nothing prints out. Okay, we can switch this around. If 100 is greater than 10, which it is, it's higher. True, 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 true. Okay. What happens if we have, is 10 greater than 10? No, it's not. Nothing's happening. But 10 is equal to 10, so we can do 10 equals 10. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Here's another thing I have to introduce. Remember when setting variables we use one equal sign? Like, for example, for integer, my number equals 1. We set it. This is a setting equal sign. For comparing equal sign, you need to have 2. So if 10 is equal to 10, so you use 2. So that's true. 10 equals 10. You can also combine equals and greater than or less than. So you can do if it's equal to or greater than. My bad, you have to switch it around. If it's greater than or equal to. So it is equal to, so it will work. And it could be greater than. So if I did like 11, that would work as well. It'll print line true down here again. Yep. Okay. Simple enough. That's an if. Now let's add the else to it. You just type in down here else like this. Like so. Now let's make this top go false. So if 11 is less than 10, which it's not, otherwise, print line, what kind of math is this? I can't run this. What kind of math is this? Okay, simple enough. Okay, there's actually one more. So you notice that in Scratch, if you want to have like if, else if, you have to just keep on nesting these blocks inside of each other. In processing, there's a much easier way to do it. You can go else if, like this, and then you could do like if 10 is equal to 10, like so. But you can also continue, you can have another else if, just like this, or you could just have else again at the end of it. And that's how these statements are built up. You can make them pretty long too. Okay, we're gonna cut that out of there, and we're gonna go over this repeat 10 block, because now it should make some more sense, because we've kind of discovered how some of these work. Okay, we're gonna do that up in the setup. Now you don't type in repeat 10, simply enough, unfortunately. It's a for loop. It's a different kind of loop that I'll mention right now. Set up like this. And what you do is you type in, it needs an integer I equals a number. Okay, it doesn't have to be I. You can make it X, Y, Z, hello world, or you know, any random variable that you want. But it has to be an integer. Well, it doesn't have to be an integer, but you can use an integer. This works the best, and then you put a semicolon here, and then I is equal to, okay, if I is equal to 10, I plus plus, okay, not equal to, less than, I'm sorry. Okay, so how this works is, if you remember variables, okay, so we create a variable here that is called I, and it's set to 0. Okay, now we have 0. And then this is kind of like the if statement. So if I is less than 10, which it is because it's 0 right now, then I plus plus. I plus plus, that increases it by 1. So once this, everything inside of here finishes, it will add 1 to I. So we can do print line I. Okay, if we print out I. Okay, and you'll see that it goes from 0 to 9. To make it go from 1 to 10, you could just switch this to 1. So now it goes 1 to 9. Okay, of course, because if it's less than 10. So you wanted to do less than or equal to 10. Like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's how you loop through it. Everything inside of here will be looped, and you can use I to figure out which loop you're on. That's how it works. You can change this number to whatever you want. You can change the variable to whatever you want, and so on and so forth. Very helpful. Okay, another thing, the and, or, not blocks. Let's put another if up here, like this. I'm kind of just finishing off these blocks from the operator section as well. So let's give a simple statement. Let's do if 10 is equal to 10. Okay, now we're going to do and. It's two and signs. That's what and means. And 6 is less than 5, which it's not. So both of these need to be true in order for what in here to work. Okay, it just works the same way as this. It's just two and signs. Okay, didn't print anything after it. Now if we change this, because 6 is not less than 5, but if 6 is less than 10, then it should run and say and at the bottom here. Indeed it does. Okay, that's and. Now let's change this back to 5 for example's sake. We can do or, which is 2 lines. You'll find this as the same as your backslash button, and you just hold shift to make it. Sometimes it looks like there's a dash in the line or like a space in the line, but that's how you make it. So it's 2 of these to make an or. So if this or this is true, and I should replace this just to be more clarifying. Okay, so if this or this is true, 10 equals 10 is true, but this is not true, so this is true, or this is true. Yes, this is true. Okay, so it will work. And it shows right here that it did. And then not, I already showed you not. Now say you want to make it something more complex. Now you can't just, well you could just put not right here, but I don't see it doesn't work because it doesn't know what it's checking out. So you can put parentheses around this part. That way if not 10 equals 10, it's not going to print because this will return false. Okay? You can also have more parentheses and then like true and true, like so, and then everything inside of here will work just like inside of the big one. Okay, that's kind of how those work. Double up and down slashes for or, and 2 and symbols for and. Okay, back to control. We got repeat 10 out of the way, we got if else out of the way, we got all these blocks. Okay. Wait until. Okay, you can kind of do that like you can kind of do that like through a while loop. So while Let's actually set this up a little bit more in depth. Okay, so let's first create, so we have my number up here. At the bottom of the draw loop, let's make my number plus plus. Let's add 1 to each turn. Okay, why wait until? Okay, wait until is going to be a bit different than you think, actually. Yeah, I'll have to go over that block in a different episode. I'm sorry about that. Okay, stop all. We can do that. We can do that in here. So first, let's just print line something. Whoops, not on the outside. End the program. Of course, when you press the X button, it ends the program as well. But you can just do exit, like so, and it will close it. It'll run it and then stop it. And there's no window to pull up. Okay, that's how you can stop the program whenever you want. And that stops all. You can't just like stop one script, or because there's no sprites, so you can't just do that like you'd think you would. Clones, that'll be for in a couple lessons. I'll be doing clones because those are a bit more in depth and complicated, but those will be fun to go over. Thanks for watching the control box. See you guys next time.